Hello, YouTube. It's your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, coming at you again with another YouTube video. And the title of this video is called Passport Bros Shocked as the US Dollar Skyrockets to the Moon. Live like a king in these countries. And so the way I came about this, tongue in cheek type of title is that as a lot of you guys know from some of my previous videos, I currently have a girlfriend that lives in Colombia. She's from Venezuela. I typically visit her a lot, throughout the year. And me and her were just, talking about, just the cost of goods there. And she talked about how like the Colombian peso is depreciating there. And as a person that kind of looks at different currencies and the pricing, I noticed that the US dollar has been soaring there. At one point, when I was there, the US dollar for the first time hit about, I believe it was about 5,000 pesos to one US dollar. And that hasn't done that in many, many, many years. Typically, it's kind of like dwelled about like maybe like 4,000, maybe like 4.2 pesos, something like that. But it had really taken off over the past, especially around like September, October, like during those months. Like right now, it's kind of what do you call it? It's down slightly, but it's soon it's going to rise because the U.S. dollar's been rising against several different currencies. So I say all that to say this. This year of 2023, I encourage you guys to really go out there and travel to many different countries while the dollar is really really strong, and you'll be surprised how much value you can get for your dollar, especially in comparison to the states. And so, what I wanted to do in this video was I wanted to actually give you some pliable information in regards to the your US dollar value in these other countries to kind of give you a sense of how powerful your dollar is going to be in these countries. So within this small video, I don't want this video to be too long. It may be even best for me to kind of break this down to several videos, mostly because there's right now several different countries where the US dollar is very, very, very strong. So what I'm going to do is, and this, for the purpose of this video, and to keep it short and to keep you guys from, tuning out and that kind of thing, there are about maybe like five different countries I want to kind of really zoom in on, and then the other countries that are of honorable mention, I'm going to like list those and kind of display them to you and just kind of talk briefly about them. But I'm going to focus in on these five different countries and kind of really show you how strong the US dollar really is there. So, starting off, let me just, I guess I'm going to start with the brief mentions, the honorable mentions, and then I'm going to go in and really, go in on these countries, which I recommend you should travel when you get your vacation time, or you get, to some of you like myself who work remote. If you're a remote, worker, you can travel, even for some that want to be expats. I think some of these countries I'm going to recommend towards, the end are some of the best spots you really should go to. So yeah, so that being said, let me pull up. I actually pulled this together. So as far as like honorable mentions, right now, Chilean peso is down against the US dollar. This is one country that I have not had the opportunity to travel to. Only reason originally I avoided Chile was because it's more one of the richer countries in South America. So for that reason, whenever I travel, I kind of like to go to countries where, of course, as I said before, like the U.S. dollar is really, really strong, and you kind of get your bang for your buck. You can kind of, like as the title says, you can kind of really live like a king in some of these countries. I kind of like more of that experience, especially coming back from the States, where, as you guys have known, that the inflation has been out of control. But maybe for guys who are like more upscale, middle to upper class, you may not have felt the inflation that much, but either way, I when I go away, I like to really, when I go to these countries, go to nice hotel, nice dinners, that kind of thing. And I'm going to show you those countries particularly really should go to. So on this list is, as I said before, Chile, which now is down against the US dollar. I believe, like, for the most part, you probably can get about whatever, pretty much a lot of the cost of goods here, you can get them for about nearly about half price somewhat in Chile, currently right now. But again, it's one of the more richer countries. But if you have some free time, maybe you're in South America, maybe you're in Colombia and Brazil, you have like a weekend to kind of, spare. Maybe you might want to come check out Chile. Same thing with Mexico. Our U.S. dollar is very strong against their currency. Only reason I just mentioned it as honorable mention is I've been to Tijuana before, but the only reason I don't really like travel in Mexico is because it's a border country. And in my personal opinion, this is where a lot of the drug cartels, when people hear about, we saw like, the fear that people have about going to Colombia. A lot of that stuff has actually migrated more so to like Peru, Mexico, because that's the border countries. That's where they're actually trying to get the countries into the United States. And you have to a certain extent to where you even have cartels that literally will shoot at police and that kind of thing. For me, Mexico is just a little bit too rough for me for the most part. I might just go briefly. Like I said, I went to Tijuana for like, actually I've been like twice for like, and mostly I went during the pandemic, mostly because everything was shut down. You really couldn't travel too much. So I said, okay, let me use this opportunity to finally travel down to Mexico and see what it's about. So had a wonderful time there. Food was amazing. But again, not necessarily the place I like to be. It's a little bit too dangerous for me. But some of you who are a little bit more adventurous, I heard good things about like Mexico City. Some bad things as well, but I have had people I know that went to Mexico City, had a good time there, came back. Also Tijuana as well, and also some other towns as well. So you may want to go and check it out. Same thing with South Africa. The currency there is has been down against the U.S. dollar for a while as well. Now again, this is probably one of the more richer countries in Africa, but nevertheless, you'll still get your bang for your buck there. I've been meaning to visit it for a while because there's a podcaster, I believe his podcast is Passport Bros podcast. And actually, he was on BMT's channel. He talked about, for all of you that are looking for a girlfriend, looking for a wife. He talked about he encouraged brothers to go down, or even Passport Bros in general, whether you're white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, to go down to South Africa to find you find a wife there, because he was just saying the women there like very friendly, very feminine. And again, as we've been noting, it's not all just about the women for the most part. Really, when I go to Africa, I kind of think about, it's like the landscape there is just very, very beautiful. I would definitely like to go there one time, do some type of safari type trip, go out there, see the landscape, go to restaurants. It's like a huge deal. I have not really been to Africa yet, and it's kind of on my bucket list. So definitely in the future, I'll probably be traveling down to South Africa. I encourage brothers and all Passport Bros, regardless of your background, to go down to South Africa as well. Check it out. U.S. dollar is very strong there. You definitely will get your bang for your buck. Now, I listed some countries here where our U.S. dollar is very, very strong, but there's a few little issues here and there that I have for these countries. Now, some people might not take issue with it, but I just at least wanted to bring it to your attention. For example, Poland. The U.S. dollar is down there. My only problem with Poland is that O'Shea Duke Jackson, he lives there, and he talked about lots and lots of like racism there. Obviously, if you're like a white passport bro or like maybe a lighter skinned Hispanic, you probably won't have any issues there. But to all my, I'm more of a chocolate brother. Anybody with kind of a tan, maybe even his Hispanic, East Indian type of person, you may have issues there in Poland. But as we all know, there's racism everywhere. You probably won't have any issues. This could just be me, being paranoid, but just from living and being intoxicated with, all of the issues here in the United States, I like to completely get away from that when I go on vacation. So that's why this is on this list. Same thing with Hungary, but Hungary, I would list it more as xenophobia. I actually traveled there before, maybe like 2 years ago. I went there for about maybe like a week. Wasn't really a fan of it. Some of the people, not all, but some of them seemed a little bit cold, kind of cold and standoffish. Borderline to some degree. Like I said, I don't want to say is racism, but as I said before, I felt more as an outsider there for the most part. A lot of times when I was interacting with people, it just seemed very cold. So I just wanted to at least bring that to your attention. I have heard about some brothers going there. They have had a wonderful time. I believe O'Shea Du Jackson went there. He traveled there a few times, but it's not my particular country. Turkey, nothing really wrong with Turkey. Phil Scott, who has I believe his channel is called, it used to be called like the Vice Show. I think he changed it. But anyway, he's traveled to Turkey several times to get like dental work done. From what he displayed, it seemed pretty wonderful. The only issue with it is that it's more like in the Middle East. Um, yeah, so it may be like a little conflict there, that kind of thing. That's my only issue. It's not even really a big issue. I'm sure I go there probably having any issues. If anything, he talked about how comfortable he felt there. So I don't know. Possibly some of you might like it. I'm not really sure. Only issue with Indonesia is recently there was a law that got passed, and this is not just for play for play for play was it pay for play brothers. This is also for any of you guys who are down there looking for like a girlfriend. Realistically, you're looking for a girlfriend, potentially even a wife. There's a law recently that said if you're caught having sex before marriage. And this is not pay for play. This is even for you guys who just have girlfriends, and some of you guys going there looking for a future wife. But either way, there's a supposedly a strict law there. Now, I have heard some people in the comments to say that that's not necessarily true. They don't really follow it. So I don't know how accurate it is. I've never been there. Just off the bat, I've never been there. So, but I at least wanted to bring that to your attention that there is some new laws that are being passed there. So you just got to be careful. But I'm sure other than that, you'll have a wonderful time being there. And my only other issue with Vietnam was that I heard about a little bit of colorism there. So I would just say if you do go there, just be aware that there is still a little bit of colorism there towards some of them darker skinned people. Probably not have any issue. I've heard some, passport bros as well talk about how they had a wonderful time there, no type of issues. But I at least wanted to bring it to your attention. Now to this list that I have down here listed as other, like New Zealand, Portugal, Jamaica, Belize. These countries here, these are like wonderful countries. I definitely would like to maybe visit New Zealand one time, Portugal. My only reason for listing these two here is mostly because they're still in the West, still in the West. I typically, as I said before, I want to get away from all the issues we have in the West, especially dealing with racism, that kind of thing. I want to go somewhere I can breathe. I can kind of put all this behind me. So that's why these will be more countries, just maybe like a family trip or something. Me and my girl, we fly there and, just, I don't know, just to kind of scratch it off the bucket list to say I've been to New Zealand. My only other issue too with New Zealand is that plane trip is outrageous. Outrageous. I think you spend almost like a whole day doing nothing but flying, flying, which is just, I can't. I've done like, because I've gone to to Thailand, and one time I think it took me about maybe like 18 hours, something like that. But I just heard that the trip to New Zealand and Australia is a little bit more rougher. But to some of you that are a little bit braver, you got a little bit more patience, definitely you should check it out. US dollar is very, very strong there. And once again, Portugal, Western country, main reason I don't have too much of an interest going there. Same thing with Jamaica. Jamaica to me, I've never been there, but I don't know. It's so close to the United States. It's a USD territory. Kind of feel like I'm still in the States. This would be just, to me, it's almost like if I visit Canada, which I've never been to as well. But I don't know. I just think about when I'm traveling, I kind of like want to go the distance. I kind of want to get away from so much American influence. I just feel like a lot of it probably will be there. But I don't know. Some of you guys tell me in the comments. And lastly, like Belize, I definitely want to. I believe Dennis Sperling talked about he went there a few times, but I've heard mixed things about it. I heard about because I actually have a family member, excuse me, family member that's actually and this is family through like marriage. So anyway, some of his family actually lives there. He just told me it's a little bit dangerous there. I'm not gonna say just like kind of like how I'm not gonna say as dangerous as supposedly it is to travel to Haiti, but but right now he just told me it's a little bit rough there, so I just put that on there. I probably, if he ever goes, I'll probably go with him and travel there to check it out. A huge, African population there. Seemed very wonderful. Just seems like a African version of like Brazil. I mean, of Colombia, even though Colombia does have Afro-Colombians, but it's a lot of like African population there. So definitely US dollar very, very strong there. You definitely need to check it out. Now that being said, these were just the honorable mentions. Now I'm going to really go in and focus in on these 5 countries I really wanted to show you, and I just really want to go in detail to kind of give you a sense of how powerful your dollar is there. So we'll start off with let's start off with Thailand for a second. So anyway, this is a nice website. This is livingcost.org. You can come here, compare United States versus whatever country you want to compare it to. And I just want to show you how right now, because currently right now the Thai which is the baht, for $1 you're getting about 32 baht, and it's pretty strong there. I've been to Thailand at least like twice. I was there maybe like each time I went about like 2 weeks. But very, very nice place to visit. I had a wonderful time there, and I just want to show you in comparison what the your US dollar would do while you're there. So let's just look at this. So I want to come down here because put it in more like plain terms. So in the United States, you go to your grocery store, you go to the gas station, you go down and get a drink, you pull out your Coke there. So on average in the United States, some Pepsi Coke of one little bottle probably costs about $2. As you can look, for about a fourth of the price in Thailand, you can get a Pepsi or Coke. That's just to show you that. Same thing with fast food. And this right now, this is not even, because technically where I'm at now, at McDonald's to get like a number one meal, you're talking almost like $12. But look how much it is when you go to Thailand. And the good thing about the McDonald's there in Thailand is that they have some things that a lot of the McDonald's here don't have anymore. Like where I'm currently at, because I'm like in the Baltimore area. They no longer have like they used to be like the strawberry sundaes. Thailand still has it there. Not only that, they also have on the menu, they serve chicken, they serve rice. It's really, really cool that when you go to these countries and you see their version of McDonald's and like additional things they have there. Same thing if you were to go to Colombia, you would see also they have not even just the strawberry sundaes. They have things like there's like a mora sundae, which is like blackberries. They get very, very creative. It's really, really cool. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Same thing with if you go to like the nice little restaurant. Look how much, if you go in the States, you go to some fancy restaurant, you're spending like maybe like $60. Let's say you go to like, some of you may not like this restaurant, but I do. In the United States, Red Lobster. I'm a fan of Red Lobster. So Red Lobster, you might spend about like $60 per person. But if you go to that same restaurant, steak, lobster, that kind of thing, you're only paying about maybe like $25. So you're talking about like a little bit about half the price. Let's see a few other things. Yeah, beer, same thing. Maybe you go to like a little pub or something like that. You're paying like $5, but you go to Thailand, you're only paying about like $2 for a drink. Now, it actually depends. But this is supposed to be on average. But either way, as you can see a definite difference between like the price in there. Same thing with meals. Like I said before, if you go to like some of the street vendors there in Thailand, you can get like a decent meal for about like $2. Versus here in the United States, you try to get lunch, like I don't know, you go to Chipotle or something like that. I think Chipotle is probably about maybe slightly less than this. If you were to get like a burrito, maybe like a drink, you're paying around this price. But as you can see in Thailand, think about how much on a salary. If you make $30,000 a year, look how well you can eat living in Thailand. Think about that. And yeah, so anyway, that's Thailand. So definitely you have money. And I also rated Thailand, I believe, like number 3 of my top 10 countries. It's definitely worth checking out. And especially not only the food, not only the place of living, not only entertainment, but if you're looking for a girlfriend, you're looking for a wife, Thai women are some of the most sweetest feminine women that you can ever deal with if you're looking for a wife or a girlfriend. Very easy to approach. Definitely recommend. So let's go on to another country I want to show you. So let's go to the Philippines. And the good thing is, one thing you may want to do, which I didn't have the time to do, is if you already flown over into Thailand, I think you can get a trip from Thailand to the Philippines, and it's obviously going to be much cheaper. I think at one point it was going to be about think I could have paid like $400, something like that. Versus if you're coming from of course, the United States to the Philippines, you're talking almost like $1,200. Sometimes you can get a good deal. You go during a time when nobody's traveling. Maybe you can get one for like $800, something like that. But either way, let's get into this. So once again, let's go down. Let's look at some of the differences. So obviously, as you can see, average rent in the United States, you're talking about like $2,000 versus there, and this is family rent. You're talking about you only paying at most maybe like $600, and this is going to be a very nice house. And yeah, very nice mortgage or rent that you got to pay. So um, either way, let's go down to the place I shown before. So once again, here's the Pepsi, here's Coke. So pretty much as I said before, you go into the United States, you go in the gas station, you grab some Pepsi to go before you jump in your car and pump your gas. You're paying about $2 versus the Philippines, you're talking about 70 cents. So about almost like a third. You only pay a third of what you pay. Same thing. Look at their fast food. Look at their fast food. I believe in Thailand was slightly more, but look at this. Maybe McDonald's, you're only paying $3-4. United States, as I said, where I stay is actually more than this. You're paying almost like $12 for like a number one, number two meal or something like that. Expensive restaurant, like a decent restaurant, Red Lobster, you're paying like $60 a state. Same type of restaurant there in the Philippines, you're talking about a third of the price. And let's just look at some other things. Let's look at your cheap one bedroom apartment. Look at this. Less than $200. Think about if you retire and you just use Social Security. I believe Social Security on average was about, I think it was anywhere between like $1,500 to I think a little bit over $2,000 per month. Think about this: you pay about $150 out of that $1,500. You got so much money left over, and look how much you paying per day for like maybe like a lunch meal. And this is out to eat. This is not even if you go to the grocery store there. So you're talking about three times what 30 days in a month, 90, 3 meals a day. You're talking like $300. So you got $300 there. You got about $150 for your rent. So now you're like $450. You still got money left over. Now I'm sure it's going to be some little, if you can live kind of, as they say, kind of thrifty. I'm sure you can kind of grind this down, find some decent, pay for your utilities, internet plan, that kind of thing, and you straight after you retire there. So this is actually like there are a lot of people now trying to retire in the Philippines. Also, some people recommend retiring like Ecuador, of course, like Thailand, that kind of thing. So because I think I'm running out of time. So anyway, let me touch on some of these a little bit more briefly. So anyway, here we are, Colombia, one of my favorite country. I spent lots and lots of time there. As I told you before, my girlfriend is there. And as you know, let's go down to our chart. Let's look how much you'll be spending on like food there, fast food, that kind of thing. So here, as you can see before, Pepsi about $2. Here, you're talking about a fourth of the price. Beer at a pub, you're paying about like $5. Here, you pay about like $1. A lot of times, if to a lot of people in the hotels there, of course, you got your like little mini bar there. Very, very cheap beer. Fast food, not that much of a difference. And as I said before, but you'll be surprised the stuff they have on their menu. In Colombia, they have like I said, chicken, rice. They have a variety of different chicken sandwiches, which you don't really see in the States, but they have them there. But yeah, so you have that. Also, lunch menu as well. If you go to like a street vendor, one of the local restaurants there, you're only paying about $3-4. Versus in the state, as I said before, value meal, McDonald's is about like $12, something like that. So you're talking about maybe a fourth of the price. So yeah, so definitely, like I said, that's why I definitely recommend Thailand, the Philippines. I definitely recommend Colombia on your list for 2023 if you want to live like a king. Yeah, so let me keep it moving for the sake of time. I'm not gonna keep you guys that long. So I'll keep Brazil for last because there's a lot of controversy right now with Brazil. But anyway, Argentina, if you look on the chart, to those who trade, Forex, stocks, that kind of thing, if you look at the Argentinian peso versus US dollar, it's been on a steady incline. And again, Argentina is one of the more richer countries in South America, but however, because of the economy there, and I believe they defaulted on some of their I believe it was some of their loans. But either way, the economy there is not doing really great. They talked about inflation is through the roof. I believe it was at 100%. So that being said, they really want the US dollar there. There's even like what do you call it? Like the black market there for like a US dollar. They'll give you like a high exchange rate, which I don't recommend working with them, but I'm just saying that to say that if you do bring US dollars there, you actually bring cash, it's going to stretch and go very far there. So, okay, so let's look at some of this. So, one person's rent, average cost in the United States is about $1,300. There, you're only paying about $200 for like your rent. So, you're talking about, what's that, almost like a sixth of your rent if you go there. Let's go down and let's look at the chart, the comment chart I've been using, just to give you a sense of like the cost of things there. So, to pretty much get like a Coke there is about $1 versus $2 in the States. Restaurant is about like a third. You go to a nice restaurant, which Red Lobster is not that nice, but I enjoy eating there. $60 per plate versus same type of food there. Shrimp, lobster, steak. You get in about, you can probably get by with about. Now you obviously not gonna get all of that for like the $20, but you probably can get. I do know in Colombia for around this price, I was getting like at least getting like steak, Caesar salad. I got like some steak, Caesar salad, some water, was some soda, and then I think I got like a dessert with it. And it was all about maybe like $20, something like that. But versus that same meal, especially a nice spot, you paying a little bit more. So to be fair, mine's like maybe like the shrimp or something like that at Red Lobster. This probably would be about maybe like 40 something, $50, something like that. But either way, as you can see, still significantly cheaper than in the United States. Let me see anything else. Let's look at a taxi ride. United States, you're using Uber to get by this, I guess mid-range place. You're paying about almost twice what you would pay in Argentina. And also, I didn't mention this about Colombia, but man, is Uber there is very cheap, very cheap. I think a ride from the airport by Uber, ride from the airport, all the way down to, you talking like almost like the center of, this is like Bogota. You're talking about, I was only paying, what would that be, about $15, something like that. And it's a pretty good distance. You paying no more like $15 versus in most. I'm trying to think. Like when I went to Costa Rica, and I went from like the airport to like the hotel there. I was paying almost like it was a decent amount. It was a decent amount. But in Colombia, Uber there is very cheap. It's very cheap. You'll be surprised. I'll say that. So, and let me end with Brazil. And there's been a lot of controversy because of the whole like Austin Holloman thing, whatever. But to those out there who are still brave enough to fly out in spite of the feminists trying to come after him, trying to come after us, and as we know, she's not really going after a lot of let's just say like the non-black people there who are pretty much doing whatever they want to do there for the most part. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna keep it short, but if you are brave enough to say, in spite of that, I still want to go. The real is down against the US dollar there, and you still can get a good bang for your buck there. So let's go down and look at some of our charts to see what the price of the things is there. As you can see, price of the Coke is not in soda is half of the price that it is in the United States. Fast food there slightly cheaper. And again, when I went to Brazil, I mostly went to Rio, which is And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up. I don't want to keep the video too long. But again, this is your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, signing off. Please leave your comments. Please tell me what you think about this list. Were there any countries I should have recommended? What do you think about some of the countries that I've referenced? Please leave your comments. Please hit the notification bell. Please hit the thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. And please subscribe if you've been following me for a while. You like the stuff, you like the content, you want more. Please subscribe so you can learn more about traveling and hear more from my videos. And Yeah, tell me what you think. I'm gonna wrap it up there. And until next time, this is your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, signing off.